I have to confess that I did make a new item, and I have to blame somebody. Hello, sweet friends. It's Sarah at Crochet.With.Coffee, and thank you so much for joining me for another Monday chat. This is my mug for today. I got this at Ollie's. It's blue with, I don't know if you can see it. It's little, oh, there you can, iridescent on the outside there. It's super pretty. I love this style. I was looking for an orange one, but they didn't have it in anything other than like the glasses. So blue it is. I got blue. I think the other one was pink. But I always check out for Ollie's yarn too. They did have some big twist yarn there when I went, so that was neat to see, but it was all like neon green, and I don't need any of that because I don't really use it, and I have some, so I figured I didn't need to get that. I controlled myself. Aren't you proud of me? So you can see behind me, I have a few things that are a little bit different today, and I have been working in here this week getting everything reorganized and resituated and moving some things out, moving some things in. So I'll give you a little tour so you can see what is different and what is what. I give a pretty detailed tour of what it is that's going on in here now, show you where I record and everything. If you guys didn't know, this is a closet, and I'm going to show you around my closet. I know someone had asked about my yarn stash, so I'll show you that. And if you guys want to see videos of me setting this up and everything from the very beginning, I do have a playlist. I'll put that in the description so you guys can check that out. But let me give you a tour real quick, and then we'll get back to our chat. So here's a little behind the scenes. This is normally where you see me sitting in my chair. So normally that's where I'm at. But this is some of the work that I did. If you'd like to see what my yarn room has looked like in the past, I will have a playlist in the description. You can go check that out. But up here, a lot of these I had in different areas, but I also had all of my makes up here, like all my blankets from tutorials, sweaters, cardigans, purses, all that stuff was up in here. And I have taken that down and moved it to a different place. So I've got all my mandala cakes here, my Karen Simply Soft here. I do have plans for this. When it'll happen, I have no idea. The yarn that I got from Ollie's, it's the Easy and Quick, I think. I can't remember, and I can't reach it because it's all the way on the top. It's chunky, and it's really pretty colors. So then in my lovely Joann boxes from when they were closing, I have a bunch of like chunky weird yarn in here, and then thin yarn up in there that's just like random cakes of really thin yarn that I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with yet. Over here, this is my yarn that I'm going to be doing those test swatches, and you know what I talked about the other week of running them through the washer dryer, see how all of that goes. And this is my box that I have my labels in for the year, my Christmas box. So that one, all of my yarn labels that I am keeping track of for this year to see how much yarn I have gone through. I've got my scraps. So here I have a big, that is really cute, that my mom gave me from a craft fair. Little cat. So these are my larger, like medium size scraps here. And I've got my small scraps here and small balls of yarn here. Then this one is a mix of ends that I tied together. So any end that is a foot or so, I tie that together into this ball, and I make things out of that as its own skein. These are the ends because I just cleaned that up. Let me put that in my ends thing. I'll show you that when we get there. But then I have all of my Hobby Lobby yarn here. I've got full skeins, partial skeins. I've got some of my, sorry for the cords. I have the yarn that I caked up from thrifted blankets that I unwound and caked up. I've got some Karen cloud cakes, really pretty colors. And then these were on sale. What are these? The latte cakes. Those were $5 at one point, and I got a bunch of those. Still don't know what I'm going to make with them. And I've got my macchiato cakes. I do have another color back there. And then I've got these from Michael's. They had another sale. It's $5 a piece. I have not used that yet, but it's really pretty. And then I have a few colors of these. I think this one was on sale at one point. Or no, I used buy one, get one 50% off, I think, when they had that sale. Then I have a few of my books. I've got some patterns, which I want to talk to you about patterns and storing them in today's episode. And then I've got just some extra stuff. A lot of thrifted books that I found. Crochet and knit books. I've got more books up on my shelf over here. More of the books instead of like the pamphlet type things. So then this is the Big Twist Living that I got when Joann closed. So I've got a stash of that, and I've got some really cool Big Twist here. So that's the jelly bean, and that comes in a green as well. These pink ones were gifted to me. Then I've got more. I don't know if these are considered jelly bean. Let's see. Yes, these are also jelly bean. And then this is some red heart, or I'm sorry, this is some lion yarn. Hi. Thank you. Some lion yarn here, and some other mixes. You want attention? Yeah. And these are frames that I have ideas for. I was thinking of putting granny squares in these. And then this one is for a cross stitch that I don't know if I'll ever get done, but it's on my list of things to complete. Now, over here, subscribe if you haven't already and you want to stay tuned for more yarn related content. I've got more scraps of bright colored yarns up here. And more earthy tone scraps. So when I say scraps, I pretty much just mean that they're larger than this, but a scrap for me is partial skein that I do not have any more of. Like, I've got a bunch of colors up here. If I don't have any more of this color, then it gets caked up and put in this basket for later. A framed granny square, which I'm going to talk about this a little bit later today because I have some updates on something related to that. And then this is the recording area where I do my tutorials. I've got all of that there. Got my iPad for viewing. This is a trash can made out of an old chock full of nuts coffee can. So that's my trash. This is my yarn ends. This is my March. Here's my March labels so far. And all my extra doodads here. I just got this from Amazon, this organizer. I really like it. It's for pens, but I have all my hooks in there. Coffee cups for scissors and pens. Button box. This is a little sewing essentials. More hooks. Let's see. Yeah, I've got more hooks in there. Those are my clover hooks. And see, this has just computer gadgets. Right here is my tripod and my microphone. I've got more organizers here. These are my bins of blankets that I am currently working on, so whips that I have going on. And then I've got my big twist yarn here. More big twist. That purple one is Bernat that I got at Ollie's. I do have some red heart tweed mixed in there, but the rest is big twist. And I've got my variegated here. I've got my pound skeins. And then we're back around to that. And up in here, this is our Whip Wednesday project. So I've got my octagons in there. And I think that is about it for the yarn room tour. So let's get back to our Monday chat. So now that we have gone over our room tour, let me know your thoughts on the new yarn room setup, and I'd love to hear your feedback on that. But let's take a look at finished objects and whips, and I'll give you some updates. For the whips that I have going on and finished items and all that stuff, I want to share with you. So I have another finished item today. This is the mandala baby blanket, and I'll put the link in the description for this pattern, and I'll put the creator on the bottom of the screen so you can see who it is that is the creator of this. Isn't it so pretty? I used Karen's Simply Soft, so I think it ended up being a little bit smaller than the pattern suggested it would end up, but aren't those details so pretty? I'm very happy with how it turned out. Even from far away, it looks really nice. Love it. So that is a finished item off of my list. So I am officially down to 6 projects, and that includes a cross stitch. So the second thing that I have is the bed runner, and it's not finished. I'm just showing you my progress. So this square that I was showing you in the tour around the room is a different option for colors. In this one I did the center white, and in this one I did the tan. So I switched the 2 center rows. But this is one of the squares. And after our winter to spring crochet along is finished, that I am posting on Fridays until we're all done, I will be releasing this pattern. I should be able to get it done by the time that is over. So I have a whole bunch of squares. I've got these. These are all end sewn in squares. You've got a variety of colors. They're all of the citrus punch color. That third row is a color changing yarn. So we've got multiple colors there in the center, or like the center row. So I've got this whole basket is yarn ends all sewn in. They're all done. And then this basket is yarn ends not sewn in. So these still need to be sewn in. I am still working on one more stack of brown border, and then the squares will be all done except for the ends. So I'm very excited about that. And when this pattern comes out, I'm going to have sizes listed of how much yarn, how much yarn, how many squares, all of that for twin, full, queen, king, California king. So all of those will be listed for you when this pattern comes out. And I do have some alternate color adjustments that I'm going to show in the tutorial as well. I swapped out a few of these colors just to see which one looked the best. And I posted it on one of my shorts, I think, of asking your opinion of what ones that you like the most. And this is the one that won. And that's actually the same color order that is in my weird whip along that we covered a purse and granny squares. It was, those colors were inspired by one of the squares that I did on that. So that's why we started that. Then I had a suggestion that that would be a good bed runner. So instead of making a whole blanket, we're making a bed runner. You can obviously adjust this to be a blanket if you want. You're not contained just to the bed runner. You can make it whatever you want. You could make those squares into a cardigan if you wanted to. But anyway, that's what we have as far as the progress of the bed runner. Now for the other 5 projects that I have on my list of whips. And before we get into that, I have to confess that I did make a new item. And I have to blame somebody. Angie at the Fabulous Empty Nest posted a video of her showing a sweater that she made that I absolutely fell in love with the style of this creator. I'll put that on the bottom of the screen and put it in the description. But she has this gorgeous, lacy, pretty top that I just had to have. And she said it only took her a few hours or a day to make. So I told myself after I finished that mandala baby blanket that I was going to treat myself to a new project, because the next things that I have left are very time-consuming projects. And before I dive all the way into that, I wanted to treat myself with something. And another reason is that I did this was because I needed a car project, because we were driving to and from the Disney area and I needed an item to work on. I needed something to keep me busy in the car, because all my other projects are a lot of yarn to carry back and forth. And when I do a car project, I like to just carry around one skein, very simple instructions, so I'm not trying to figure out stuff on the run while we're in the car and all that. So that was my car project. So I justified it a little bit, but let me show you a clip of what it is that the shirt looks like, and I'm going to share a little bit of the adjustments that I made to the pattern as well. So what I did with this one is I did the size medium for this, but what I did different was I extended down the side with about 10 chains and then worked the pattern like it said. And then on the other side to close it up, I just slip stitched to close that up and continued the way that the pattern had said to work it. So that's the difference that I did. I think I want to make my next one a little bit longer. I think I'm going to try it a little bit longer just to see, because the length that I like in the front, it pulls it down in the back. So I'd like it to be the same all the way through. But that is it. I'm really happy with it. So along with that one, I did start another one in a yellow color, like I think it's a sunflower yellow, I think is what it's called. But I did start that, and that is also staying in the car for a car project. So I do have a little bit of that, just a tiny bit of that in the end video at Disney, because I took it when we went there and we sat outside for a little bit. So I took that with me so that I had something to do. So I cheated and I did a different project before my other whips were done, but I feel like I have good reasons. I don't know if I do or not. I don't know if it should pass or not, but anyway, thank you, Angie, for the wonderful suggestion for that pattern. I loved it. I'm making a second one. It's so much fun, and I blame/thank her for it because I love it. So anyway, on to my whips that I do need to work on. So the bed runner is one. Then I have our Whip Wednesday that we're doing our mystery picks. So I have that one. I have a tapered sleeve hexagon cardigan that I'm making. I do have my cross stitch that I'm counting in the 6 that I have. And I'm not going to count my car project because that will be done very quickly. It'll just take me a few trips in the car and that will be done. Now I have this one that I was working on while I was, reviewing and editing my videos before I posted them, but it got to be too much to try and figure out where my squares were and watch and think. But this is a 2 round granny square, and they are attached as you go. If you want to know how to do this, I do have a tutorial for a scrap granny blanket, and I show you how to do a join as you go on there if you want to do this. I think that one is a 3-row granny and this is a 2-row granny. So that's the only difference that you'd make, is just do one less row. Everything else is the same. So there's that one. This is all thrifted Red Heart yarn, and I really love those colors. Very happy with that one. It's my stash of thrifted yarns. And then my next one is this one. So did I count all of them? Bed Runner, Whip Wednesday, Hexagon Cardigan, that 2-row granny square, this velvet, and the cross stitch. Yes, okay, so this is my velvet blanket. This is a Yarnspirations pattern, so I will put that in the description. You can check that out. It's got a cable, like a braided cable look on here. I need to find the front. It's heavy. It's a heavy blanket. This is also a Bernat Velvet yarn that I got, and it is also from Ollie's. You can see it's hard to see, but the yarn is gorgeous. It's so soft. I really love this. I'm excited to actually use this one because this is going to be in our room. I'm gonna use it as like an extra blanket in our room because our room is blue, painted blue. So I think I'll use that with that. So what else do I have to share with you? Oh, while I was organizing my stuff in here, I realized I need a good system for organizing my patterns and the patterns that I purchase and all of that stuff. So I landed on 2 different systems of organizing patterns. I have my digital patterns that I have purchased and have not used yet, or haven't printed off at least. And then I have my printed patterns, because a lot of the time I like to have a physical copy of a paper pattern. And I like to have that with me so I can mark on it and I can keep track of it that way. I really like that idea. So I decided to do both. So the first one is what I'm going to do with my physical patterns. And I got this from Amazon. So it is a 3-ring binder. It's got all these extra goodies in there, but it's a 3-ring binder, and it has a clipboard on the outside edge there. And then it also has this little strap that goes along right here. The reason I got this, let me show you, is because I wanted to be able to use my pattern like this and then put like a paper clip or something over here, and I can move the paper clip down wherever the row is that I'm on, so I can stay on track that way if I don't have a pen with me. So if I'm like row 1, row 2, row 3, and just keep scooching the what did I say? Paper clip? The paper clip down, or a bobby pin or whatever, and just keep scooching that down to stay on the row that I'm on. So that was the one thing that I had for printed patterns. And then what I'm going to do with that is I have these sleeves. So the sleeves are going to go into the 3-ring binder, but I'm going to be keeping the full pattern in the sleeve, not individual sheets. So it's going to be the full pattern in each of these things, and I can flip through. So what I'm planning to do is having the one that I'm using pinned to the front, and then anything that I have planned that I've already printed off that's going to be a next project will stay on the inside of this binder. And then when it's done, it'll go in my organizing stuff, in my shelving stuff. So that's my physical pattern organization that I have come up with that I think will be a really good fit. And then I was looking for a digital way to organize my patterns because I have them on my phone, I have them on my computer, I have them saved in files, I have them saved in downloads. It is chaotic, and I have double purchased patterns before because of the fact that I didn't realize I already bought it. So I was doing some research, listening to some different YouTuber crocheters, knitters to see how they handle their patterns and their organization as far as that goes. So I watched this channel before, and it is Kim at Yarning with a Smile, Yarning for a Smile. I'll put it up on the screen so that you can see that, and I'll tag her in the description as well. But she recommended getting a thumb drive. So I found a thumb drive online. This is 128 gigs, so this should hold everything and then have extra room for me. But this one, and anything that I said that I found on Amazon, which this is also an Amazon find, I will put in my Amazon storefront so that you can go check it out if you would like. But really just, you can shop for whatever it is that is the most interesting for you. But if you like these individual items that I shared today, they'll be available for you to check out. But anyway, the reason I chose this one is because it has a USB for the computer, and then it also has a USB-C for my phone. So I can hook this into my phone, because typically when I purchase a pattern, it's on my phone. I purchase them on my phone because I have Etsy on there and Ravelry and all that stuff. I'm logged in there, but I'm not logged in on my computer. But if I ever want to put this on the computer, then I have that option. So I specifically needed one that could plug into my phone because that's where I have everything downloaded already. So I am excited to start getting organized with physical patterns and digital patterns. So very exciting as far as that goes. Super, super hyped to work through all that. Now I want to thank our giver of our hug in a mug. That is the Buy Me a Coffee thing that I have set up. It's in the description. It is an avenue that you can buy me a cup of coffee if you would like. It just helps support the channel, and I get to give you a shout out for any time someone gives a cup of coffee or a hug in a mug. And I just want to thank Angie for her hug in a mug. She said that she just wanted to give me a cup of joe, and also that she likes my cat. Do you want to come here? You want to come visit? She stares at me. I'll get her. She's also very angry that she hasn't been fed yet because it's around her dinner time, or at least she thinks it's her dinner time. She still has a couple hours. But thank you so much, Angie, for the hug and a mug. So if you want to stick around to the end of the video, I do have our little tour around a Disney hotel. We went to the Contemporary just to walk through and hang out and just see some stuff there. So if you want to see that, you can stick around to the end of the video. But thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you find joy in the little things.